I was informed that some rules were changed 16 hours before the convention. So that's the reason why the other convention where the renegades split apart. What were those rule changes?
There was supplemental rules that were written, authorized by the State Central Committee, of the responsibility of the Executive Committee, to write supplemental rules to help create the proper environment for any type of event that might occur regarding election of delegates. And the party was interested in preserving the integrity of the primary balloting system, a multi-million-dollar deal involving voters throughout the state. Republican voters turned out in very large numbers to vote for their candidate of their choice. And during that election, Rick Santorum had 90,000 votes, got about 50% of the vote, right at 49.1%. Mitt Romney got a little bit over 25% of the vote with 40-something thousand votes. Ron Paul got 6% of the vote with 9,000 votes. It became apparent that the integrity of those delegates that were allocated to Romney and Santorum for doing so well in that in that primary, were potentially going to be stolen. So we just tightened up the rules. We made it more responsible so that delegates for those candidates would be elected instead of Ron Paul people posing as supporters of those candidates.
Could you tell Channel 3 viewers how those delegates could be stolen?
Well, you run as a Santorum delegate or as a Romney delegate, and you go to the convention and vote for Ron Paul. They're doing it all over the country. This is not unique to Louisiana. It's a strategy they have. It's on their blogosphere. It's all out there in the Paul Bot blog. It's all over the place.
But can you tell Channel 3 viewers or maybe this rule change was brought about specifically to prevent Ron Paul supporters from getting him?
Well, that could be viewed by them as the result of that, but the action was taken to clarify the allocation ruling of the State Central Committee's rules for this convention. It didn't change the rules, it just clarified them. There was no significant change to the rules. Listen, they voted on a set of rules in there that significantly changed a bunch of things too, so they're just as invalid if they think that that's the qualifying factor. So we conducted ourselves according to our rules. The state party allowed the executive committee to clarify rules, to have supplemental rules, and that's what we did.
So what happens in terms of the delegation? You'll look at your
So the delegation will go before a contest committee in Tampa, and the contest committee will hear the accusation that they have that they were treated unfairly or that they behaved outrageously because they were justified, and it'll compare the result to the legal and bona fide result of the state party's convention that elected delegates, including Ron Paul delegates. So, Ron Paul didn't have his delegates stolen from him today. They're still going to be elected. They still were elected, or they'll be seated by the executive committee. So this was not some usurpation. This was just the clarification of the Romney and Santorum delegates. That's all it was.
So the delegation that will go to Tampa, will they support whoever they want to support, or will the Louisiana Republican delegation support Mitt Romney?
Well, as of right now, 5 of the delegates that are elected are going to be Romney delegates. So yes, they're going to certainly support Mitt Romney. 10 of them are going to be Santorum delegates. They'll vote for Santorum unless Rick Santorum frees them to vote for Romney or whoever they want. That's a process that has to occur. There will be 5 at-large delegates, which I suppose are going to be some Ron Paul people in there, and they're going to vote for Ron Paul. I suppose, I don't know for sure. There'll be some district delegates that are going to be Ron Paul people. We know they're going to vote for Ron Paul. There are some district delegates that were elected that were uncommitted. They could vote for anybody they want. They'll probably, I would imagine, vote for Romney.
But you said earlier that with the original convention that Mitt Romney was the majority winner.
No, I didn't say that. Rick Santorum carried 49% of the state of Louisiana. What didn't make him the majority winner, it made him an outstanding favorite, and he earned 10 delegates.
The other guys are saying that Ron Paul. Well, so how is that possible, especially if there's a majority in the convention?
Well, then the caucus seat, Ron Paul Paul.
Yeah.
Ron Paul won 4 out of 6 of the caucuses. So, and we duly note that, and that's, nobody's trying to take that away from us. The convention had other delegates, though. State Central Committee delegates, there are other people involved in this process besides those that were elected at the district office. Their statement that they were in a majority is a statement of their noise they made. It wasn't, there was never the chair didn't recognize their attempt to take over the convention. It was not authorized. We conducted the business of the convention in spite of the ruckus they caused, in spite of the distractions.
Saying that the new rules that were basically illegal. That's the reason why.
Well, that's a great claim. They can claim that, but the rules. No. No, the rules are allowed to be perfected. They're called supplemental rules for a reason. The executive committee is allowed by the rules that they say are the pure rules to make changes to the rules to accommodate situations. And as long as we didn't make a significant change, and we didn't, all we did was say that the allocated delegates were to be recommended from the candidate. Now listen, they can say that this is illegal, or that this is a departure from the rules or whatever. All we're saying is the Republicans of Louisiana are going to know what we did. They're going to accept what we did. They're going to say, oh, y'all were being fair. Y'all were making sure that Romney got his 5 delegates and Santorum got his 10. Oh, that's what y'all were doing? Yes, that's what we were doing. Now, if you want to say that Ron Paul people can be elected as Santorum delegates and thereby gain control of the delegation, feel free to say that. But almost all Republicans would say, well, that doesn't sound right. That's unfair. I mean, it's a basic fairness issue. I mean, we put that before the voters every time, and they continue to put us in charge. I mean, look, Ron Paul got 9,300-something votes. Santorum got 90,000 votes. Those voters need to be represented in Tampa. And they tried, their goal was to take those voters away and put their people in instead so that they could have control of the delegation. There was a way for them to get control of the delegation. Pure, clear, simple way. Win all 6 districts. Get your caucus people out and win all 6 districts. They failed to do that. They won 4. Period.
As far in terms of convention, that's all the questions I have. But I do have one more question. In terms, moving forward, what are the biggest priorities for the Republican Party in Louisiana in terms of where this presidential election goes?
Louisiana's a pretty red state. We'll go for Romney. It's not a question. So our efforts will probably be focused on helping raise money for the party in general and for the Romney campaign, and helping raise money for super PACs. And I mean, all of us will take an individual role in that. It won't be the party's role. The party's role here will be to turn out the vote, but it won't be a big issue. I mean, it'll be a 60-40 blowout.
So regardless of who's candidate,
it doesn't matter. Yeah, Ron Paul will be. If he was the nominee, we'd all be for him. I mean, we're Republicans.
thank you, sir.